Shalom Akim, Kahalayim La Yahabashim Yashabashim Hakudash, and double honest to the apostles. I thought I shall for the strength to make this video, and I find it edifying, which means to build up, and also exhorting. Edify means to build up, and of course exhorting meaning to encourage. But this will be a short video. Just saw this article recently. I decided to save it so that I can make a video later on. And just going straight to the point, it says, from the Times India, as you can see from the top, it says here, Meta AI chief Alexander Wang says we'll have kids only after Elon Musk's Neuralink, and then dot meaning Neuralink chip. So of course gradually, and as you can see, the article was updated January 1st, 2026, 5:43. So of course it's pretty recent. But yeah, the point is, man, ESO's gonna start using these higher up individuals, because this guy he's in the billionaire level of in terms of just status in the world, in terms of riches as well. So of course, people like him and certain celebrities will be used to promote or normalize the use of this MOTB, by the way, Revelation 13, verse 16 to 18, man. Which, I might as well, pretty much every time, we do speak on, articles and topics related to it, that's the core precept that we start with. But yeah, let me get that and then get back to the article. So Revelation 13 verse 16 to 18, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. In other words, it will be Esau Edom's beast system, man, which will be really via the NATO and the EU, in order to reinforce this, chip, just to make it plain. Verse 17, it says, before verse 17, it says to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. It doesn't mean specifically it will actually be in the right hand only. It would be typically in the places like it could be in the left hand, it could be in the right hand. Typically in the places where people would use those gestures to pay for things, man. And their forehead, of course, is not just referring to directly the forehead, but rather the brain, the head, and of course when you look at I made a video on it recently, the latest Neuralink update, 2025, in terms of their summary, they said that they will have different implants for different parts of the brain. So all of that, it's sort of a reflection of this scripture here where it says in the right hand. So of course there'll be an implant in the hand, and there will also be an implant in the head as well, which is what the forehead represents. And even if you want to get specific as well, the prefrontal cortex, which is the portion of the brain that's behind your forehead, behind the skull of the forehead, that portion, if you get what I mean, that's really made for like the core decision making. But anyways, I won't get deep into that. The point is, the right hand does not specifically mean that it just has to be the right hand. So don't try to play smart. The point is, if you take it in the hand or the foot or in the head, really, the point is any part of the body, you pretty much you'll be damned, man. You're going to get the Revelation 16 verse 2 treatment, which is the noisome and grievous soul. But anyways, Revelation 13 and 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So it says here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And yeah, man, so Esau's gonna start ramping it up, especially considering this year's 2026 as well. So Esau, just don't close your mind to what Esau could do, in terms of ramping up the adoption of the implant, man. Because he's going to use the disabled ones, then eventually it's going to be like getting a new iPhone. But anyways, man, but as the scripture said, the deceived and deceive are his. But let me get back to the article. So Alexander Wang, the head of Meta's, which Meta is just a new name for Facebook, by the way, Artificial Intelligence Division, Super Intelligence Labs, has now gave a new statement on its plans of having kids, children. So speaking at the Sean Ryan show, Wang said that he would wait until Elon Musk's Neuralink or similar brain-computer interface (BCI) technology is highly advanced before having children. It says that Wang is of the opinion that child neuroplasticity, which is pretty much just the ability to form new brain connections, offers the best window for adopting brain-computer interfaces, and that future generations could grow up learning to use super intelligence tools intuitively. And this is the quote from himself, Alexander Wang. I'll have kids after Neuralink is very advanced because children's brains in the first 7 years are more flexible and can learn brain-computer interfaces, unlocking more potential than adult brains, said Wang. And it's true through the spirit as well. The scriptures talk about train up a child the way he should go. Hold on, I got it here. So Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So of course, in the NLT it also says they direct your children onto the right path, which read the scriptures for Israelites anyways. But of course, these heathens, they do it to their own seed too. Esau brings up his offspring the way he intends them to be, and these other heathens do the same thing so that their offspring pretty much is raised up in their expectation or in the honor of their parents. So it says, direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it. You see, there's also this quote here, from Aristotle. It says, "Give me a child until he is 7, and I'll show you the man." So those first 7 years are critical. Hence why I'll say what he quoted just now, Alexander Wang, in the article. I'll have kids after Neuralink is very advanced because children's brains in the first 7 years, and 7 means completion as well, are more flexible. It means completion, it means perfection. Are more flexible and can learn brain-computer interfaces, unlocking more potential than adult brains, said Wang. So, they would think if a child was to grow up in the beast system, which that's one could even imagine just being born and then already you just flipping get chips. So darn pity, judgment from Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man, from the Most High. So let me continue. So Elon Musk founded Neuralink is presently conducting clinical trials and is working at restoring mobility for patients with paralysis. So again, they're targeting those who are disabled. So Musk has long promoted the idea of expanding the technology to enhance human cognition. Wang's remarks highlight how some tech leaders see BCI, brain-computer interfaces, not just as medical tools, but as essential upgrades for future generations. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I pretty much read that. But yeah, that's really the point, man. That's really the point. So yeah, man, they're going to use celebrities like this guy. I say celebrities, but this guy's one of those guys in the tech world. He's like obviously under the big seven, Google, Apple, Microsoft. Obviously you got new ones added as well, like Palantir. I say new ones, but back in like 2010s onwards, probably even 2020s onwards. There was like the big five, I believe. Which was like Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, aka Alphabet, and what's the other one? But yeah, point is, right now, you got the AI ones, the AI tech tech elites. Palantir, OpenAI, you got the Neuralink as well, so on and so forth. This guy's one of them. He's working for Facebook right now, aka Meta. They're going to use these guys to promote the implant, man. That's the point. So let me get to this preset because I have some on deck as well. I really, his as you could tell from the name, Alexander Wang, did a little bit of research prior to the video. He's his parents are actually Moabites, man. So I ain't sensing that he's a Jake, After watching some clips, I'm like, okay, he could generally just be a Moabite. He just grew up, in America, man. So anyways, I'm gonna read this. If it be so that he is a Moabite and not a Jake. Again, I don't perceive that he's a Jake, man. I believe that he's a Moabite. So anyways, Isaiah 40 and verse 15. But of course, you could always say the benefit of a doubt. Isaiah 40 and 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. So nevertheless of these heathens using their children to adopt the beast system, the Most High just going to clear all of them, man. Just like a flipping drop from the bucket, which is just worthless. Just what do they call it in these games? Collateral damage, or even in the war movies, collateral damage, something like that. So verse 15, again in the NLT, no, for all the nations of the world are but a drop in the bucket. They are nothing more than the dust on the scales. He picks up the whole earth as though it were a grain of sand. So really these heathens are worthless. That's the point of that precept. And this one's really a punishment of Moab. Jeremiah 48 and 7. For because thou hast trusted in thy works, because of course all these tech billionaires, tech elites, the ones who own the companies, the billionaire companies, point is that of course they're going to trust in their works. Esau's going to trust in his works, which really the Most High gave him that intelligence to be able to construct the system for it to fall down inevitably. But considering Alexander Wang, and him being of a Moabite origin, just from his parents being Chinese immigrants, Moab's gonna get their judgment too, man. So nevertheless, the point of the video is really they'll use these type of guys to promote or regularize I'm not even sure if that's a word, but to normalize the use of the Neuralink chip and the implant, such as from DARPA or whatever companies are producing chips in that time. There's probably going to be a variety of them too, but all in sync to that B system, man. So hold on. Let me read this. Jeremiah 40 and verse 7. For because thou hast trusted in thy works and in thy treasures, thou shalt also be taken. And Chemosh, which is one of the idols, one of the so-called gods of Moab, even Ammon as well. It says, shall go forth, Chemosh shall go forth into captivity with his priests and his princes together. So, Moab and the vain idol will fall as well. So that's the point there. And of course, they think that they're doing quite a good thing, that they're trying to push into the so-called utopian future, making people cyborgs, embracing transhumanism. No. That's just a the limit, the pinnacle of Esau's kingdom is just that implant, and that's it. So 1 Corinthians 3 and 19, for the wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High. For it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. Let me read it in the NLT. 1 Corinthians 3 and 19, for the wisdom of this world is foolishness to the Most High. As the scriptures say, he traps the wise in their snare of their own cleverness. You know why it's going to be a trap? Let me read you this. Now I mentioned it. I'm going to close out on this. So Revelation 16 of verse 1, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth. So this is judgment season. Verse 2, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them that worshipped his image. Which read the image really goes into Rome coming back again, man. You know, all the ways of America reflects Rome being reincarnated again. You know, as a, I guess as a city again, but as a country really, since Babylon the Great is since America is a country in it. But the point is, the image, it simply represents Rome coming back again, man, as America. But again, it says a noisome and grievous sore, which is a core part of this precept, which means noisome meaning smelly, and also grievous meaning painful. So of course those will be the results of those people who took the implants, as mentioned in Revelation 13 and verse 16 to 18, the mark of the beast, MOTB. They're going to get some cancers. Simple, I say simple as that. But that's going to be the consequence of doing that, man. So that's what the noisome and grievous soul represents. But anyways, Kim, the actors are, you got the point. The point is, people like this will be used, especially the celebrities on social media. When they start promoting, you're going to know we're in those times for real, for real, for real. Not that we're not there, but the thing is, we're still warming up right now. But at the same time, Yaratazar, these things are going to just speed up quick, man. You know, so just open your eyes when you see certain celebrities start to talk about this, with their children adopting the technologies and whatnot. Anyway, Shalom, Yabashim Yashai, Brakatha.